Okay guys, so we will start our today's session. In today's session our topic is agile transformation. So how to transform from traditional methodology to agile and any other predefined or pre-using methodology or plain methodology to agile. So let's see what is the agenda of today's session. Yeah, so here are 4 points, guys, from waterfall to agile transformation, from QC agile to agile transformation piece, and dealing with management while doing transformation from any other methodology to agile. So these are the 4 topics basically in today's session. So we will start with our first topic, from waterfall to agile. So basically, in waterfall, mostly those companies are using waterfall who are working from so long time in information and technology, and they are feel very flexible and very easiness in waterfall model, but there are a lot many drawbacks also. I'm not saying agile doesn't have any kind of drawback. Agile also have drawbacks, but agile is created, or agile is found based on the drawbacks available in a waterfall model or any sort of traditional model. So what exactly waterfall and agile? So if you see on screen, there is a diagram where waterfall model is display at the top and agile model is display in the bottom. In waterfall model, basically what we are doing, basically we are just gather the requirement on initial level and we deployed the entire requirement in one go, and between this time frame from requirement gathering to last deployment, there is a huge time frame goes in the entire process. Almost a year or 2 years or more than that of time goes between this area. Majorly very less communication with client, very less communication with team members. Also team size is too big. It's very hard for project manager and program manager to handle. Even in traditional methodology, mostly there is a force that you have to follow the hierarchy, designation wise hierarchy. Say for example, uh, with managing director only vice president can communicate, for with vice president only program manager or project manager can communicate, with program manager and project manager only team leaders or project leaders can communicate, and the rest of team can communicate to team leaders or project leaders only. They cannot directly communicate with project manager or any other folks. They cannot bypass their superior. If they did that things, then maybe it creates a problem in project. It is somewhat like ego issue. So this is the reason in major areas waterfall model fails, and agile break this entire chain. Agile only provide 3 roles: product owner, scrum master, and scrum team. Apart from this, anybody can communicate with any sort of person, any designated person, anytime if required. Say for example, team members can directly communicate with program manager, with vice president, with managing director if required. If required, team members can directly communicate with client business analyst also. If product owner is not available or product owner is absent, and team required some sort of more clarification on project's requirement, then in that case team can directly communicate with clients business analyst, business guys, which waterfall not allowing. Now when we are transforming from waterfall to agile or from any traditional model to agile, at that time there are some sort of steps. So step number 1, train the staff. When you are applying agile in your organization, I am giving a very simple example. There is a company which name is ABC. this company is working in software industries from almost 10 years, or maybe this company has started its business just before few months. So both the companies are available. Now these companies required, or these companies want to apply the agile in their organization, in their projects, but they don't know how to apply agile and what exactly agile is. So first step, they should hire a specialist agile person, which we call as a agile coach. And the work or the responsibility of this person is to first train the entire staff, including managing director to till the junior level of engineers or the trainee engineers. Till that level, the agile coach should provide a basic training, a basic guidelines, what exactly agile is, why agile is there, and what is the benefit of agile if we apply it on proper level or on proper basis. So this is the reason agile coach first start with train the staff, get some sort of training, get some sort of training invitations, and provide some sort of training. Maybe uh, if I'm saying I'm giving a board training, or I am giving a slide training, means after every slide I will provide some sort of information. So sometimes these kind of trainings are board, and team members are not completely get that particular training. Team members are bored, even management peoples are also bored. So there are some sort of other ways also. You can provide the training through games. You can play some sort of agile games, training games, where you can provide more and more area of agile through that game, provide that information through game to your team members, to your management. When you are playing some sort of game, at that time everybody took the attention 100% and learn almost more than 90%. If you are doing a slide training or board training, maybe team members learn only 50 to 60%. So this is the basic difference. It's completely depend upon agile coach, what kind of training agile coach will conduct while running the agile or while beginning with agile. Now second point is leverage automation. In agile, mostly automation goes hand in hand with agile. Say for example, whatever things are possible to make automation, you can do it. I had given these examples in my previous few sessions also. Like if you are using agile management tool, then there are a very little efforts you have to put on initial level, and after that the tool itself gives you the report whenever you want, wherever you want. So this is a kind of automation where that particular tool is doing the automation behind the screen and provide you the some sort of results. Same thing you can do with process also. See for example, after getting the requirement, after discussing all the requirement with team members, ask team members that they have to uh, gather these requirement, they have to provide their understanding in same meeting, what kind of things they understand, where exactly their understanding level is. Based on this discussion, it's very easy to identify are they on track or are they off track, and something like that. Now after these things, when team members allotted any cards or any working area to their plate, at that time they have to manage it completely. If they want, they can break it. If they want, they can use it as it is. This is something where we are providing them opportunity and responsibilities on their shoulder. They have to take it and they have to manage it. Now when we are providing these things, sometimes in a beginning level, team members are afraid to take such kind of opportunities or such kind of responsibilities. At that time, as an agile coach, you have to provide them a background that if they are doing any kind of mistake, agile coach is there to guard them from any unwillful areas or any damages, and agile coach is there to provide them guidance as well as provide them some sort of solution where they can correct those mistakes or correct those wrong things within a time frame. So if you are providing such kind of things to your team members and your management team members also, they can easily accept the new opportunities and they can start working on that areas. Even you should provide a crash course to your management, because management is not interested in complete agile. Management is mostly interested in the part of reporting areas, like how agile will provide them reporting, how agile will provide them a progress report, and how agile is progressing in at which time management should expect the results or the progress from team members or from project areas. So it's a job of agile coach that he or she has to provide these area of training to management, how much time team required after starting agile, when team will provide a first sustainable result, and when team will provide them a constant result or constant output, which will include a quality output also. So these things agile coach should provide to management. Now emphasize the change of thinking. Normally what happens, if a person is working in particular area in particular way from last 10 years, it's very natural that person refuse changes on an initial level. So you have to deal with that person, you have to ask that person what kind of mental challenges or physical challenges that person face while working in those area in last 10 years, and even in today's area also, in current day situation also, what kind of things which irritate that person when those things arises in front of them. Say for example, maybe it's a reporting, maybe it's a clients changes appearing all of a sudden, and person need to scrap their previous work and again start from scratch. So these may be few samples where team members or the person who is working in same area maybe face some sort of irritations. You have to gather those points and provide the solution by agile way, indirectly. Now when you are providing solutions indirectly, and when those people started applying those solutions slowly, you have to tell them these all solutions come from agile. If they are applied the agile fully, then such kind of solutions they will get time to time, and they will save their times from such kind of irritations. By this way you can emphasize and you can make changes in their thinking. Communications regularly. Okay, you are communicate with your team members, your management, and your client team members or client people every time. You have to provide them some sort of maybe progress report. If a team is facing some sort of issues, you have to provide those issues in communication, maybe in meetings, maybe in some sort of oral communication, or maybe sometime in email communications also. If you have some sort of dependencies or risk, you have to highlight it on early basis with your management and with client business analyst also, that such kind of dependencies and risk we have identified, we are working on it, and we will deal with it, and soon once we resolve all these things, then we will continue our work. So by this way you have to communicate constantly with your management and your client business analyst also. Same communication should go in your team also. This communication should be healthy and happy. This communication should not goes on some other areas. You should not um, you should not touch anyone's ego, or you should not communicate very harshly with team members or any other persons. So by this way you can communicate with your team members and your peers. Now next point is foster collaboration. Along with better communication, trust is must. So you have to go with this area. You have to provide trust, uh, working togetherness, and entity from and the entitles to your team members. When you are providing trust to your team members, then only your team will started trusting on you. And not only provide the trust, but when you are working with your team, at that time, if you are taken care of your team from outside disturbance means I have a 10 members team, and outside team member, there are some sort of peoples. Maybe these peoples are from management, maybe these peoples are from uh, client sites, and these peoples are constantly started communicating with my team members. They are forcing my team members, or they are advising my team members that my team members should work on so and so working area. Now it's a job of agile coach and scrum master that they have to provide a restriction to these guys, that without agile coach permission or without scrum master permissions, no one can communicate with team directly, but team can communicate with these peoples directly without any issue. Team just have to notify scrum master and agile coach. That's only the option. So by this way, when you are communicating, when you are providing a trust to your team members, then your team member will work in same manner. Now integrate tools. uh, you should find out those tools which will helpful for your project. While running project, at that time you have to gather some sort of inputs. Say for example, my team is working on some sort of project, they are progressing, but this progress I know because I am working with my team members, but management and client people doesn't know this progress. So we should have a tool where we can showcase that particular progress to our management and our client business analyst also. So you have to integrate those kind of tools. Almost 187 tools are available which manage the agile projects entirely, end to end. You can apply any tool in your project. You can learn first what exactly that tool is doing, what is the output of that tool, and does that tool satisfy your all requirements and your all goals or not. So once you find all these things, you can integrate it. Stay flexible. You can stay flexible with your team members. Whenever your team required your help or your attention, you have to provide that. Even ask your team member to stay flexible, because it may happens that client may send some sort of changes in the requirement, maybe send some sort of new requirements and ask to complete it on urgent basis. So we should have flexible that much that we can adopt such requirement and we can manage this requirement in our running show. But when you are managing such kind of requirements, at that time make sure the same weightage work which you already considered for your current working time zone, you have to replace it with new priority work. So you have to manage it, and you have to make flexibility in your team with your team, with your management, and with your client side also. Concentrate on end product, guys. When you are working on any sort of requirement, at that time always think from this point of view. After delivering this requirement, after delivering this particular card to our client or to our production area, where exactly this fitted, what exactly this requirement will give to my client, and how can I provide more and more uh, effective output from this requirement to my client, so that my client can get more and more business, more and more end customers, more and more faith of their end customer. So when you are try to concentrating on this area at end product, at that time you are always cautious about quality, about work, about culture, about demos, and in demo you are providing more aspects which are connected with your requirement, and you have to provide these things in your demo to your client, that whatever requirement I am right now releasing from pre-production to production, where exactly that requirement will go in production, where exactly it fitted, and what benefits this particular requirement will give to our client team or our client peoples. You can tell these things. Now, there are 10 more steps for transformation, building a leadership coalition. When you are transforming from any traditional model to uh, any traditional model to agile model, at that time you have to build a leadership coalition. So you have to create a leaders. See, for example, in your team you have to provide some sort of technical leader who is very good in technical, or who is specialized in some sort of area of technology, so that that person can help on initial level, as like a first aid box, and provide that solutions, or provide that help to their team members till the availability of their architect. Once the architect is available, then maybe the architect will provide more solutions on those area. Define an end state vision. Every time when you are communicating with your team members in your product grooming session, at that time you have to provide them a end state vision also, like what exactly this requirement is, where exactly this requirement fitted in production area currently, what exactly client is using in production area, are we replacing those things using this new requirement, or this new requirement is completely new for production environment. So you have to provide this information also. In short, you have to provide some sort of bigger picture to your team members, so that it's easy for team members to understand and work on those particular requirement. Build transformation roadmap. Guys, when you are working in agile, when you are starting any sort of work in agile, say for example any sprint, or any sort of agile framework with your product or with your project, at that time you have to make a transformation roadmap. How to start my agile, when to start, what is the middle of my agile, where exactly the points, or where exactly the time we reach, and we are started making improvement, or started making changes in our process, so that it will goes more and more flexible for team members. So you have to make a roadmap for that. Just like you are leaving from your home, you are reaching to your office, you go by road, and you know by which road if I go, I'll reach to my office very easily, and within a very less time. So same thing you have to do with your agile transformation also. Maintain a rolling out plan, and conduct a checkpoints also. Now, what is maintain rolling out plan? So when you are transforming from any traditional methodology to agile, at that time give some time to team members, that when they are transforming from old version to new version, and when they adopted a new version, or when they accept new version, at that time which things they are doing previously they have to avoid in new area, and which are the new things they have to start working on. You have to provide some sort of time also for this, and this is we call as a maintain rolling out plan. Now, uh, adopt and adapt and learn. Always you are learning many new things in agile when you are started applying it. Maybe this happens that with every team you got some sort of new learnings, none of previous learning will repeated. So this also happened. You have to accept those changes, you have to learn these things, and you have to work on it. Connect activity to outcomes. Now, when you are working in Agile, at that time you have to connect with some sort of activities. Say, for example, some sort of ceremonies are there, some sort of communications are there. You have to connect with these areas and always try to find out something out of box. Say for example, I am conducting some sort of ceremonies and I found that very few peoples are communicated in my ceremonies. Say for example, product grooming area or sprint planning area or daily stand up area or retrospectives or in demo sessions, even in some sort of middle meetings also, very few peoples are communicated from my team members and rest of the team members are just sitting idle. So avoid these things. You have to start some sort of different approaches. Say for example, you have to ask the question to team members and based on those questions gather the answer from everyone. Ask everyone, that everyone should provide the answers. Say for example, I am running one of a project, so I am asking my team members a very simple question: how they are feeling in our project, or what exactly going on. So one by one everyone should provide a progress of their work. So everyone will provide the progress. Now ask them a counter question: are they facing any issue, or whatever they are doing, are they confident that while doing such kind of approaches they are reaching to the goal. Here we are not providing them any sort of insecurity, but we are asking them, we are just try to make them talkative so that they can speak in every meeting, they can provide their feelings, they can provide their ideas also. And when these things started, at that time your ceremonies and your meetings will get success. Connect outcomes to business objectives. When you are communicating with your team members, at that time tell them what exactly business objective is and how we have to reach to these business objectives and what we should do. Even you can ask them if they have any idea where we can reach to these business objectives on early basis or on safe basis, where we may face very less blocker, but we reach to these business objectives very early and very quickly. So you can manage like these things. Now create safety for everyone involved in your project. While I'm saying safety, you have to make a barrier from management and from client side. There should be a two barrier always in your team. First barrier is your scrum master, second barrier is your product owner. Without their information or without their permission, no one can directly communicate with your team members. Even outside disturbance will also you have to resolve, you have to make barrier for that also, and make your team very clear and calm area, or provide them a very safe area where they can work very easily and they can continue their job very easily and very happily. Now while you are doing such kind of things, at that time slowly your team will started working in a happy manner and provide you some sort of result. Now if I am started agile uh, transformation from any traditional methodology, and when I'm creating a roadmap, at that time maybe my first roadmap is for 1 quarter, where I'm considering 3 months. So if you see on screen, agile transformation roadmap with key stages, so first month, second month, third month stages are available. What exactly the key stages I have for this particular roadmap for first month, second month and third month, what will be the deadlines, what will be the implementations, what will be the development plans, production plan and IT plans I had decided. You have to provide this entire picture to your team members basically, and same time with your management also. In this roadmap it may possible that there may have some sort of plus minus due to some sort of unidentified risk, or due to some sort of changes which are appearing from client side on urgent basis, or on initial level. So you have to adopt those things, and based on those changes, or based on those priority work, or based on those unidentified risks, you have to make changes in this roadmap every time you are provided. You should provide this updated roadmap to your team members, that previously we decided we will finish this work at this time, but now due to this reason, bullet points reasons, we are making changes, and this is our new roadmap for upcoming next 3 months. By this way you can create a roadmap for down the line, maybe first 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarter, 4 quarter, like that. And you can track this particular roadmap using this per month area, whatever you are thinking that I'm going to complete these things in this month, these things I will complete in second month. So you can track these things. Based on this you can identify easily whether you are on track or you are off track. So likewise you can create your roadmap and you can establish it. This is a very easy process. On initial level maybe it took some more time while you are creating a roadmap, because on initial level you are just creating a ideal roadmap based on assumptions. But once you started implementation and once you started facing problems, you can make changes and you can make your roadmap more and more concrete level. So by this way you can transform. Now in terms of management dealing, or in terms of management communication, so there are few steps. Say for example, making sure you are dealing with good boss or bad boss. Now what is good boss? Good boss means the person who always try to listen you, who always try to understand your problems, and who always ready to provide you some sort of solutions, or ready to provide you some sort of team members or organization colleagues who will provide you guidance to come out from your frustrated situation or come out from your risky areas. Bad boss means I do not require to tell you much more on this area. Bad boss means the person who is always pressurizing, not ready to listen you, or maybe listen you very partially and provide you mostly the order, not suggestion. So these kind of areas goes on bad boss. Now how to identify boss motivation? So basically when you are dealing with your boss, any boss, maybe your management boss, maybe your client side boss, or maybe your project head or project boss, at that time try to provide them some sort of information related to agile, like what exactly going on in agile, how to make improvement in agile, when these improvements are possible, in which situation we can make this improvement, when we are starting improvement, at that time how much time will it take to get the success or get the result. You have to provide these informations very slowly to your management or to your bosses, and based on this you are creating a runway in front of your boss, so that tomorrow if some sort of situation arises where if you want to make changes in your agile process, or if you want to make some sort of improvement plans, when you are doing these things, at that time maybe your result may delayed for some time. So your boss should adjust those delay. Your boss should understand why this delay is there and what exactly progress we are doing behind the background. So using this you can deal with your boss. Now don't let it affect on your work. When you are dealing with your management, when you are dealing with your client, at that time don't make it affect. Maybe it is good, maybe it is bad, maybe it is positive, maybe it is negative, but don't affect it on your work, because if it affect on your work, it will directly affect on your team's work also, on your team's communication also, and at the end result also. So agile coach should be that much flexible, where agile coach should consider such kind of communications, such kind of relation on their own level, and only provide the positive feedback to management and team members. Negative feedback always agile coach keep on their level. They never let it pass to any other level. Step by step go ahead. So when you are dealing with your management, with your team, or when you are transforming your agile from any method to agile way, at that time you have to perform your work step by step. You should already clear by after which step I have to take which step, and how I have to transform it. I am giving a very simple example here. um, I am dealing with a team. That team is working in organization from last 10 to 15 years. They are working in waterfall model, and now I management asked me to make changes in our model and try to apply agile. Also make these guys aware agile, and ask them to deal in agile way. This is not easy step. This is very simple to tell anyone that you have to transform it from traditional to agile, but this is not practically very easy. When I am starting dealing with those team members, and when these team members know that I am an agile person and I am here to try to apply some sort of new methodology in their team, at that time they started avoiding me. They started making a very less communication with me. So what will be my approach? So step by step my approach will be, first I am communicating with them on casual basis. I am try to ask them, or I am try to understand what exactly they are doing, in which area which person is doing, and from how long that person is doing. This is my first step. Second step, I will ask them their achievements, maybe till date achievement, like what exactly they achieve from the day one when they started work in that particular fashion or in that particular technology to till date. Now my third step is, while achieving those steps or while achieving those milestones, what kind of things they face which they don't like, or where they are really frustrated. So somewhat their pain points. Slowly team started telling me pain points. Now my fourth step is, I am asking them a permission that in future maybe these kind of issues or these kind of problems they may face, I have a solution for that. But do they have, are they giving me a permission to provide this solution on oral basis? Sometimes peoples are ready to accept it. Sometimes peoples are just says we have solution and we do not require any new solution for that. It's fine. The person who is ready to take these solutions or take this idea, you can provide them solutions indirectly by using agile solutions or agile ways. You can provide them agile ways. Say for example, uh, team is frustrated because because management is continuously providing change request or continuously changing their requirement. So you can tell them that their manager or their team leader can apply the barrier to client and ask the client that they have to first fix the requirement. They have to first identify what exactly they need from us, and once they reach on that point, they have to provide those requirements to us, and then our team will start work on it, so that it will save our time and our efforts which we are putting on their requirement. By this way guys, you can slowly provide them solutions, and then these guys adopted these solutions, slowly apply these solutions, and they come to you and they even provide you a feedback that whatever solution you have provided, that solution is working very well. That solution particularly resolve their issues, their problems. Now tell them whatever solution you have provided, those all solutions comes from agile, and those are very baseline solutions. If these guys apply agile slowly, then you can provide them bigger solutions and bigger ways also, where they can easily remove their blockers and their frustrations from their life and from their product. By this way, step by step, you can start applying agile, and these step by step work will follow by these team members. And believe me, these steps always get a success. Now set boundaries. When you are working at that time, set boundaries. Like every team member have a balanced work. None of a team member is overburdened, none of a team member is sitting idle, none of a team member have pressure on their heads, that within this time frame this requirement should be completed. So you have to set some sort of boundaries for your team members while they are working. When you are providing these boundaries and when you are explaining these boundaries to your team members feel happy, and they will work very peacefully in their project or in their working ground. Now stop assuming that they know everything. Now they means either management or team members or client. So stop assuming that these peoples know everything. You have to provide them time to time the requirements or updates. If they know already, still you have to provide them update. Let them say that we know all these things and we are working on it, or we are taken care of it. So still fine. Till that time you have to provide them update. Now act as a leader, take a responsibility, act as a leader, and work with your team members. See, good leader, there are two leaders, good leader and bad leader. Bad leaders is a person who always save themselves in any kind of crunch situation or any kind of bad situation and highlight team's bad work in front of management. Good leader always hide the bad work of team members and always highlight a good work of team member to management, always took a decision on behalf of management, apply those decisions in team. If those decisions goes on bad level, team leaders ready to accept the failure. If those decisions goes on success level, team leader provide that success to entire team, because without team leader cannot do anything. So this is the reason team leader share that success with team members. Always, if leader is there and if good leader is there, maybe good leader point out bad things in team, within a team, that you guys are doing these things which are very bad, but never highlight those things outside the team. Whenever the task or the time appears, at that time team leader always talk very good words about his team and his teamwork. So this is a basic difference between bad leader and good leader. You have to try to make yourself as a good leader. Identify triggers. Now when you are communicating with your team members, at that time, say for example, few team members are facing blocker and they don't know how much time required to resolve that particular blocker. So this is something you have to identify, that this particular work may not complete within a time frame. You have to raise a hooter to product owner and client business guys that this particular work may go slippage because we are facing some sort of risk, some sort of dependencies, or some sort of unidentified events, and we are working on it. Provide a positive side also in front of management, that we are working on it, we are working on these bullet points right now, but still we do not have any sort of success. We are even trying to reach to those peoples who are specialized in this area, maybe some sort of technical architect, and based on these technical architects we may try to resolve these things on early basis. So you have to identify these things, you have to trigger it to your management, your client management, and make your team safe. Now avoid future bad things. If you are raising these things to your management on timely, or your product owner or your client management, then maybe you can avoid the bad things or bad surprises which may appear at the last moment or at the demo time. So, and even you are avoid to embarrassing situation in front of client or in front of management also, because you have provided early basis all the requirement and all the information. So by this way guys, you can transform from any methodology to agile very easily. This is a very easy steps that you have to follow in a very short manner. If I want to provide you today's session, then maybe I can say that there is a newborn baby and you have to teach that baby how to walk, how to talk, how to smile. So what you are doing on a very simple way, on a very smiley faces, on very helpful nature, you can treat that particular baby while that particular baby is started walking, while that particular baby is started talking, or while that particular baby is started smiling. At that time you are involving yourself in their activities, and slowly you can teach that particular baby. Same thing we have to apply while transforming from any traditional methodology to agile with our team members, because somewhere our team is like a small baby for us, and when we are dealing with our team, at that time we have to deal with them like a small baby. Maybe these guys may make some sort of mistake, you have to identify it, you have to rectify it, you have to correct it. If required, you can try to find out a root cause analysis and you can work on it. Root cause analysis doesn't means you are showing some sort of negativity to your team member. Apply this in your team also. Provide this communication to your team also, so that team can provide you more and more help to find out the root cause analysis. So this is today's session guys. Now if anyone have any sort of queries, questions, can ask me. Anybody? Anyone have any queries, any question? Okay, I'll ask my question in other way. Uh, did you guys understand how to transform, or why to transform, or from where you have to start transformation? Basically, giving us very simple example or very simple sample. Um, if you are appointed as an agile coach, your management says this is a team and you have to start transformation, agile transformation with this team. This team is working in traditional model from last 20 years, and your every team member have more than 15 year of experience in same project. Now how will you start your transformation, or what will be your steps? So what will you do?
At the very beginning, I would try to to transform some of the agile methodology, and then I would try to identify some useful agile tools like Jira and Confluence,
Mm-hmm.
and I would name one of the guys to be yeah like a Scrum Master for implementing this tool in this team,
Mm-hmm.
and would try to make him feasible to convince the team members to use the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would try to iterate those techniques so that they get used to it. And then step by step, I would take other parts of the agile transformation tool, like grooming sessions and so on. I would step by step insert those ideas to the team members' head, and hopefully they will follow those ideas.
Yes, definitely. So this is a correct approach. If you want, I can explain a small game within 5 minutes to all of you. See, for example, if management gives me 20 team members and management asks me to start transformation with this team. Now, I know team members have good experience and they are working so long from in a traditional methodology. Now they will not ready to accept it. So what I will do, I will make three teams, three different team with equal team members. Now for first team I will appoint one project manager and I'll provide them some sort of instruction. Now game is very simple. I am arranging some sort of white papers with some sort of crayons and colors for every team, and I'll ask first team to come to my desk. Now first team when approach to me, at that time I will appoint one project manager. I'll provide them instructions that his team should draw any sort of animal or any sort of bird, paint it and create a story. And once it done, at the end of session I'll ask them to show their picture, colored picture, and tell me the story. Now I will call second team. In second team there is no project manager, no program manager, no head, no lead. I will provide them white papers with colors and I'll tell them as per their thinking they have to draw a animal or a bird, and they have to paint it, they have to make a story, and they have to provide that particular story with that particular painted animal or bird. Now I will call third team, and in third team I will appoint one product owner, I will appoint one scrum master, and I will provide them a same requirement. Now I am giving some more instructions to product owner and scrum master that they have to utilize their brain and they have to make these requirement more and more funny, because this is something area where team should face flexibility, easiness and happiness. So this is the reason they have to make this version very light and as per their brain, as per their thinking, think something out of box and paint that particular picture, create some sort of funny story and provide it to me. Now it's completely depend upon them. I am giving them almost 10 to 15 minutes to complete this particular activity. Now what will happen? After 15 minutes, I'll ask each team that they have to showcase their animal or their bird which they are painted, and they have to provide me the story. The team which have a product manager or project manager, that team will provide me a proper painted picture with proper story. What if they may draw some sort of parrot or some sort of rat, they have to provide me some sort of related to rat or parrot, maybe some sort of Discovery Channel information, so that they provided me. Second team which doesn't have any leader, that team have completed the particular graph or particular picture but not able to complete the paint and even not able to complete the story. So they provided me half cook information or half cook picture. Now third team which is sitting in front of me, this team provided me a rat or a parrot which have different color. Rat doesn't have black or white color, or maybe parrot doesn't have a parrot color. Parrot may be in a magenta color, or rat may be in 7 colors. Rat sitting in a dining hall with having their tea and reading their newspaper, like that they had created a rat picture, they have painted it like that, and they provided some sort of funny story why that rat is particularly look like that. Maybe that rat is a business owner, or maybe that rat is some sort of a big person, or maybe that rat is dreaming, that particular rat is like look like that. So they are something provided such kind of funny stories, and while they are providing funny story, at that time if they miss some point, their team members prompting them those particular points. Now if I ask all three teams which team is enjoyed the work, the team which run the agile, the team which run with product owner and scrum master, that team provides me a positive feedback, completely positive feedback, that they identify the idea, they discuss those idea, they started working on that particular idea, they took the responsibility who is drawing the picture, who is coloring the picture, who will create the story, who will add some sort of ingredients in that particular story, and likewise the entire work is done. The team 2 who doesn't have leader, those guys complaining me there is no leader, so we don't know how to complete it, and we are our major time goes in a confusion, who will draw, who will create a story, which kind of story we have to create, which kind of picture we have to draw. So lot many time goes in this area. A team who have a project manager, they says everything is decided by our project manager, we just followed it, and this is the reason this is something like a usual work which we are doing in our day-to-day life. So using this story you can giving them a simple message that if they apply agile, it's very easy for them to enjoy their life, to enjoy their work, to enjoy their time with their peers, with their colleagues while they are working, some sort of jokes, some sort of tips and tracks, and even when these all the things they are doing, they can improve their work, they can improve the quality of work, even they can improve the shippable work also. And you can showcase them, you can show them the difference. If you do not have leader, what will happen? If you have leader but entire decisions are taken by that particular leader, then what kind of work are you doing? And if you have a leader who will ask you to take a decision and find out who will doing what kind of work, who is good in which area of work, so this is somewhere we are providing you a freedom, and after that you may start your work, you may complete your work, so which you can enjoy. So by this way guys, you can provide them a transformation. Here we played a game, everybody enjoyed the game, everybody enjoyed the pictures, everybody enjoyed the stories, everybody learn. If you are providing these learnings on 1 hour session, maybe 50% learnings are taken by team members, but if you provide such kind of learnings through game, entire team will get the learning more than 90%. So this is something approach which you can do, which you can follow when you are transforming, and not only transforming but in agile, whichever things you want to do, if you are applying some sort of out of box ideas, then maybe it's easy for you and your team. Within a less word you can provide more and more message, and your team can get that particular message very easily. I hope now you understand how easy transformation is and how many ways are there to transform from traditional methodology to agile methodology. Am I correct or not? Hello guys, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I thought that I lost my audio connection because no one is communicating right now. Okay. So guys, if there are no question, no queries, then maybe I'll conclude today's call. Guys, Monday we do not have a session. Tuesday and Wednesday we have a session. Thursday, I guess there is a holiday in Germany, so I am keeping Thursday blank. We have Friday and next Monday also the sessions. Guys, please don't miss any session, and please guys, it's a request. Please provide some sort of feedbacks from your side on my these events on Yam pages, so that it will give me some sort of energy to launch some sort of new trainings in future also.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you guys. Have a nice weekend. Bye, and please stay